Hi everyone, hope you're having a nice week. I'm working at home as usual, but I know a lot of other people are working at home as a big change, so I wanted to make a few more videos to keep you guys company and help us all feel like we're in this together. So what I'm working on here is a repeat pattern for a notebook. I was going to order with part of a group order. I think those are still in the works, so I'll let you know as soon as they come along to the cotton book shop. I'm really excited about them. But yeah, I took a long time thinking about what I wanted to put on these notebook covers, and I finally decided that I wanted something kind of similar to this artist, Shinako, who does these adorable rabbit repeat patterns, and they're always like in a little field with a bunch of flowers, and I thought I want to do something in that same vein, but something more in the cotton book style, and definitely with lots of cute dumpster animals, as people call them, trash creatures, these adorable possums and raccoons. So I thought that would make this a lot more unique to go with, you know, things that you find in Artist Alley. This would kind of stand out from the bunch, although possums have really had a moment in the past couple years. So I hope that people keep enjoying how wonderful possums are. I love them very much. And raccoons, I think, are underappreciated next to them as sweet, good creatures. There's so many adorable videos and images of raccoons that I looked at while I was working on this, and they're just the cutest. Besides these sweet little animals and the notebook cover that I'm working on here, I wanted to talk about some things that I have been enjoying doing throughout these past few weeks, not being able to like visit friends and do all that same stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's bringing me joy, and I know some people are really struggling to find that joy right now and to find something that connects them to the world and makes them feel like everything is worth it. So I just wanted to share those things that maybe they could be fun for you too and helpful for you too. So I think number one is probably really obvious for me, which is growing plants. I know not everybody has the right kind of space to grow plants. Sometimes you don't even have a sunny window that you can put them in. But if you do have some space, then this is one of my favorite things to make me feel more connected to nature and the earth and just growing things and life in general. It's wonderful to see when they do well, and I know that a lot of people might think, oh, I usually kill plants, I'm not that good at it, but I always say the first step to, you know, to taking care of plants and being a plant mom is sometimes killing the plants. You have to learn how to respond to what they need, and sometimes there's a little trial and error involved in that. And even people who have lots and lots of plants will still not be able to save them sometimes. Things just go wrong sometimes, so don't worry too much about it, and just, you know, try again the next time with a new one. But yeah, I try my best to keep all my plants happy, and I like talking to them a little bit and interacting with them, even if, you know, they're not going to say anything back to you. That's almost nicer in a way. It's a lot less social pressure. It just feels nice to care for something. And besides that, you know, they clean your air, they do a lot of nice things for you. You can always read more about it in my zine, Plant Life, in the Cotton Book Shop. So next one on my list that you guys might enjoy, and you don't have to have a sunny window for, is baking bread. Or all kinds of things, baking cookies. I made lavender chocolate chip cookies the other day. My partner has been very excited about baking bread these past few months, even before we were homebound, because he pretty much lives at home anyway. But he's been having a great time working with bread, trying to figure out what he did wrong when a loaf ends up very dense or something's wrong with it, and what he did right when it's the perfect consistency and it's just so nice and tasty. He's having a really good time figuring out that whole formula. And that's another thing where, like, anytime you're working with yeast or other live cultures, it also feels a little bit like magic, because you're interacting with a force that you can't see, this teeny tiny organism that you are trying your best to work together with to create something completely new out of the ingredients that you put in. So I highly recommend trying baking and getting into something like that, or some kind of fermentation. That's always fun too. My next recommendation that has nothing to do with cooking or growing plants is small sewing projects. I've been seeing some really cute pictures on Instagram of people's sewing projects that are things like little brooches that they've made to look like a bunny or a cat or a bear, that they just sewed together with some scrap fabric and some lace and maybe buttons for the eyes, or maybe they just do stitching for the eyes. They're so adorable, and there's so many other small projects that you can do too, like coasters or oven mitts that you can finish in an afternoon, and that's very satisfying to me. And I think it can be a little bit addicting when you start making things like brooches, where you might have so many different ideas for them, and it doesn't take that long to actually finish one of them. So afternoon after afternoon, you might come back again and again to work on some of these small sewing projects until you have a whole collection of them. There's lots of good home goods and stuff that fit under that category. Zaka, if you search for them online, is home goods in Japanese, so check that out. My next recommendation is making iced tea. This is a fun, quick one where all you have to do is get some kind of sieve or strainer and a big jar or bowl, or ideally one of those Pyrex measuring cups that's just really big, and just steep the tea. Go ahead and maybe make it a little bit stronger than you normally would, and then put it in the fridge for later. There is a way of doing it where you pour it over ice, and I think it releases some different flavors, but I haven't had as much success with trying that as I have the method that I just said, of just making a big batch of tea and cooling it down, putting it in a big jug in the fridge. And then you can also always try cold brewing tea, which will be much milder and release different flavors as well. So that's really fun. Just, take cold water, put the tea in, let it steep for several hours, maybe even a day in the fridge, and you're good. I also want to recommend making a care package. I think it's a really nice way to just spend some time thinking about how much you love the person that you're sending it to, and how much you've enjoyed your time together, and all those good times that you've shared, and also just thinking about them and the things that they like, so you can decide what would go into the care package. Even if you can't get out to the stores right now or things like that, there are some nice ways to make a care package with things that you have in the house. For example, if you have some individually packaged tea bags, or if you have a way to pour some loose leaf tea into a little package that you can tie up for them, then that's a nice, I think even if you just take a plastic sandwich bag and pour some loose leaf tea in there and then tie a little ribbon around it and just cut off the Ziploc parts and finish it up so it looks pretty, that would be a great way to put that together. And there's all kinds of other fun stuff that you can include, like a handwritten note, some artwork, stickers, then maybe even pressed flowers if you'd like to make pressed flowers. Whatever you happen to have, maybe one of those sewing projects that you're working on, if you make a brooch or something. I think those can be a nice thing to send off. The last thing that I'm going to mention today is changing the sheets on your bed and changing the towels and just getting that fresh laundry out there for yourself for the next time that you're going to use it, because it's just such a good feeling to have fresh sheets or to have a nice clean towel and know that that's what you're using. It's not to be underestimated. I think it can be hard to get out there and do your laundry and get that stuff done when you're not feeling up to it, but when you do, you're gonna feel so good just climbing into like fresh, new, clean smelling sheets, and at least changing your pillowcase so that your face is not going to be as prone to breakouts. That will really make you feel a lot better. So I highly recommend those things just to freshen up the room, or anything you can do to freshen up your space. That's really helping me. So it looks like we're right here close to the end now. These are my sweet little guys and all their happy butterfly friends and flowers, and these watercolor splotches that I used to make the background feel more like a full meadow. So the next thing I did was just scan these and assemble them in Photoshop. It took a while to clean up all the artwork, but yeah, it's all done. I can't wait to see these come back from the printer on some nice beautiful notebooks, and I'll let you know as soon as they're up in the cotton book shop. I also want to go ahead and post this artwork to Instagram so people can see it a little bit better, but yeah, that'll come closer to when this goes up. So anyway, this is fun. I hope you guys had a good time. Take care, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.